Page 20, the Star-Spangled Banner, or the national anthem of the country I'm from. We have two flats in the key signature. We're in the key of B flat major. You need to be able to do the scale on B flat major. If you can't, please go to my scale video on B flat major and learn the scale. If you do know the scale, make sure you do it at least 2 octaves. If you don't know the scale, 1 octave is fine. Just learn the scale first. And the idea there is that lets you get accustomed to what notes are in that key. Playing in 2 flats, it helps when you're playing in pieces with 2 flats. It's 3/4 time and has a pickup beat. Fine. When I start learning a piece, I like to take it one hand at a time, make sure I have fingerings worked out and everything's fine. This thing, for the most part, you can use the fingering in the book. I do have a suggestion, maybe for the right hand. Keep in mind, this is not piano music. Usually there's a band or an orchestra playing this, so piano music, it doesn't really fit under the fingers real well. However, we'll do what we can and the pedal will help us out. So let's take a right hand first, make sure this works out. First of this is just a arpeggio, a B flat major arpeggio. To say 2, 4, you can start with 3 because in the first full measure, that's the fingering. If you want to start with 3rd finger, go for it. And make sure that short note is short. Don't turn it into a triplet. Now when you get to a half note, I suggest you substitute and put 4th finger on that because I want 5th finger for this. Now you can do that, it's just there are different fingering styles and I don't like using the same fingering twice if I don't have to like that. So I do the 5 and then put 4th on it. And going on with 5, 4, 3. That's what I'm after, 5, 4, 3. And then I do a 2, 3 and then a 1, 4. This is a little more advanced fingering. The idea is the melody is connecting, but I can finger it in a way I can connect both notes. So it's... Now you can lift up, and I do a thumb on that first note, first measure, 2nd line here. I do a thumb on that. It's 2. Hold that F down. It's not at half note. And then you can go ahead and lift up. A lot of people breathe here, and if you do that, it's not really a new phrase, but you can breathe. Otherwise, if you want to connect it, do a 1, 2, and then substitute 3rd finger. So it's a 2-3, and that way your 2nd finger is okay. Here, and then you can go on. 5. Got that B flat arpeggio again. And again, they're showing 4th finger. This is like it is at the beginning. I see nothing wrong with 3rd finger on that. This same fingering as we did before. Now, they have at the bottom of the page 20, 3, 5, and then at the top of page 21, a 1, 3. That is really dangerous because you're up in here and you got to get your finger in here. And if you have big fat fingers, that doesn't work at all. So I suggest, top of the page 21, it is a 2, 4, 1, 3, 2, 4. And we're going to stick with this fingering on these notes throughout the line. So then it's a 1, 3, 2, 4, 1, 3, 2, 4. All the way through that. I can connect both notes using this fingering. And this kind of fingering I'm showing you is a little more advanced fingering for piano, but it comes in handy in a lot of places, especially if you play Bach or Scarlatti or one of those old golden oldies type. You're going to get this kind of fingering. And then you can do the 1, 5 because I want to connect it. And then going on at the end of the first line, they have a 1, 5 I recommend a 2-5 because that way on the next one I can do a 1-4 and I can connect them. I don't want to use thumb both. No. So 2-5 and the 1. And now this fingering for the second line is similar to what we had on the previous page. So it's a 4 and substitute 5 on that first note. Because you gotta hold the F down. And the second measure there on second line, it's a 2-3 and then substitute the third finger there. Here. So we can use 2, then going on. Next measure, I recommend a 3 on that D by itself. This way you're in position to do that. If you can connect the top note here, and then they have a 1, 2, no, 2, 3, because we have a D coming up. I don't want to use I mean, I can slide off here, but there's no need for that, just 2, 3. If you want on the third line in the first measure, if you want, you can use 2-4 on that E flat, B flat here, and then you can do a 1-5, excuse me, here, just here. So it's here, here. Now I recommend here, if you can do on the F, G, do a 1-2. Because I need a 1-4 here, and that sets me up for it. It's not real pianistic, but so we do what we can. So it's here, and then it's a 1-2-4 for that second quarter note, the one with the fermata. And then if you want, you can do thumb. 3 on the last line. It's a 1-3. Hold the F down, it's a dotted half. Then cross over here. I want to connect the top note. And this is common in piano. We do this fingering, so you need to be able to, don't twist around anything. You just relax and come across. Then you can lift up. I would do a 2-3. Do a 5 and a 4 substitute. Because I want the 5th finger for that. And the reason I don't just cross over again, because it puts me out of position to go on. I need 5th finger on that E flat. So it's here, and then that way it's a 1-2-4 here, and then you can do a 1-2-3 if your fingers are big enough, hands are big enough. Otherwise you got to do 1-2-4 again. So the last 2 measures is here, here. I can actually do a substitute up there on the next to the last note. I can play it with 1-2-4 and then put 5th finger on it, and that way I'm in position. Otherwise, just do it that way. The pedal will connect it for you. This is just not piano music. It just doesn't work real well. Left hand, well, here. I just do 1-2-3. I mean, you're kind of in this position. Position. Can we do something with that? I don't want to go to here. In the last 2 measures of the first line, I don't want that. So I need something other. I can play it with thumb, but then I need to put some other finger on it. So maybe put 2nd finger, and then I can do that and slide off. That works. So it's the last 2 measures again is here in the 2nd finger, play it with thumb, and then put the 2nd finger on it, and then here, and then here, then a 2-1, and then stay here. They say this is the last 2 measures, 2nd line. They say 2 because you got this coming up. And that puts you in position. That actually works out rather well. You got to stretch out a bit, but here. I mean, you don't stay over these notes after you play them. You relax. third line, I can use third finger on both of those. The same fingering we had above. So forth. Top of page 21, this is a tremolo. It's like a trill, except the notes are further apart. You have the two B's, and you got there's 3 lines between them. We're going to play these pretty much as 16th notes. So it's 1 E-ended, 2 E-ended, 1 E-ended. Do it rhythmically, don't just shake. There's times when we do that just uncontrolled shake thing, but most of the time I really recommend you do it rhythmically, at least in this piece, and we'll just do it as 16th notes. They don't have to be real fast, because the pedal is going to smear it all up. You don't, just 16th notes, 1 E-ended, 2 E-ended. Just alternate, rotate the wrist here. I'm rotating the whole arm. I don't know if you can see it or not, but I am. 2 measures of that, and then the F's. And there's no rest. You have to be able to get that. And then at the end of the first line, you're down, and then the next line you go both hands. Because you're going to end the first line on that F if you do it right. And the fingering in the second line is good. I like that. Third line down, I like the fingering they start with. It's 5 and then a 4-1, 3-1. I would do a 2-1 on the first one and then a 3-1. So I connect these. Like that. I don't have much choice on this thumb. I just... Here, and then second's fine. I use 2 on the F, but you can use 3 if you want, because you got a G coming out. Thumb, that works out well. So then see if you can get the hands to work together. Ugh, good luck. I mean, hesitate all you... Just make sure you got these hands working together, everything's there. This is held down, but none of the others are. Again, the first measure of the last line on page 20, that F is got to hold it down the whole measure. At the top of page 21. 1 E-ended, 2 E-ended, 3 E-ended. So the second line again is here. That for a little bit and then go on. Now watch this last line at the bottom of page 20. You're here, here, and then here. Hold this thumb down here. It's just weird. You may have to go over that measure a little bit here. Because you got different fingers in each hand going, and then going on. The third finger. So slowly get the hands to work together, and then go back and get rid of the hesitations. It's not a fast piece. It's a proud piece. It's a majestic piece, but it's not a fast piece. It's a loud piece for the most part. As far as articulation goes, you can put in the phrasing. That's fine. People, when they sing it, they phrase it every which way. You can follow the sentences, the commas and the periods in the sentences if you want to hear the phrasing in the right hand. There. Take a breath. Now take a breath. Now there's no break there. In the last measure, the second line, that phrase is kind of important. So there, make sure that you understood it's a new phrase, a new sentence. So put in the phrasing if you can. The left hand, play it as connected as you can. Good luck with that. Dynamic wise, it's just basically loud for the most part, except the bottom of the page, on page 20, it comes down a little bit to. More contrast, you can come down a little softer than that too. Don't get soft, but you can come down because you're loud, I don't know. But then at the end of the second line on page 21, you're going to crescendo back. Those gradually get a little louder here, so it's here. But this top note in the right hand is what we want to hear, so don't drown it out. And then the last two lines on page 21 are loud, and the last line you can actually go up to very loud because there's no phrase there. A lot of people take a breath there because they're out of air, so it sounds like there's a phrase there in that second measure, but there isn't. You connect it if you can. Retardando to slow down. There, yeah, and then play ball or whatever it is after that. Now, as I said a few times, this is not piano music. I'm not sure why it's in a piano method book, but I guess you get exposed to all kinds of music. And there may be times playing piano you have to accompany singers, and you may get something like this. The accompaniment in a lot of pieces is not really piano music. It's supposed to be for a band or orchestra. It's just an arrangement they made for piano, and it just doesn't fit under piano at all. So you have to do what you can. Learn it exactly the way it's written first, and after you know it, if you want to change things or rearrange it slightly, go for it. As far as the accompaniment goes, don't change the melody or anything. So we add pedal to help us out with overtones and connect it because we want a lot of sound on this one. And it's pretty much overlapping. If you want to hear the phrasing, you got to lift the pedal up with the phrasing. And on some of the eighth notes, they lift up because they don't want to smear those. That's fine. I like that because I like a clean sound pretty much. So just add the pedaling. I don't have a lot to say on pedaling. If I were to play this 10 times, I'd play it different every time. I'd pedal it a little differently every time. I'm always experimenting with the pedal to see what kind of other sounds I might get out of it. I experiment with the dynamics. You have to just don't learn it one way and this is the way it is. Get into the music and feel it and experiment with different articulate. Well, not a lot you can do with articulation. It's pretty much all connected. But the phrasing, see what you can do with that.